the FNL Network Talk Show.
Hi, and welcome to the FNL Network Talk Show. My name's David Stowe. I'm your host, and I've got my co-host with me, Holly, Geoffrey, and Corey. How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing
Going
well.
on?
Awesome. I just got off work, so probably about an hour ago, so my voice is shredded from all day talking, so that, and we had a long night last night. My alarm system seemed to be going off for the fire alarms. We couldn't figure it out. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, so that just kept going and going and going. So anyways, I'm glad to be here. This is my first time actually getting to host, and so I'm super excited to be able to talk to you guys tonight and meet you guys. For our viewers out there, I guess I want to start off by finding out, where is everybody from? Holly, where are you from?
I'm from
And
Texas.
what do you do?
What do I do? I do many things. Thank you so much for asking. I'm a life coach. I'm a painter. I'm an actress. I'm an author. You name it, I do it. And overall creative person.
Awesome. Perfect. What about you, Geoffrey?
I am a designer of a brand, Unique Urban Edge. I own a barbershop in Day Spa called Jabor Salon Barber Day Spa, and I'm an artist on IG. It's called Jabor Arts.
Sweet. That's
And
awesome.
I'm a minister.
And a minister. Oh man, that's awesome. I better watch my language then, right?
No, be yourself. Be yourself.
Hey, I'm Catholic. I can go to confession. What about you, Corey? In case anybody was wondering, Corey is my brother, by the way. So,
Yep. Oh, it is?
it's awesome. Yes, it's definitely my brother. He's my little baby brother. So,
Oh,
I guess I might as well put it out there now. He's probably the smarter one of us, but I make that up in other ways. So,
no, he's got the stories. I want to hear the stories.
That he's admitting that publicly. That's probably the first time he admitted that publicly.
I'm not very gonna admit that to you in public. Come on, I admit it to them, not you though.
It's
I didn't
his
say
public.
I wasn't telling you. So,
All right.
Corey, why don't you tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, I'm a history teacher, 7th and 8th grade history teacher, and I'm also a writer as well. So those are, I'd say, the two main things.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. We got artists on here. I am a teacher. I am a coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a artist as a painter. I'm a singer. I'm an actor. I am what they call a jack of all trades, master of none. And some people would say that that's a curse because we never seem to figure out what the heck we want to do, but we're always doing something, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely amazing to be able to be on the show with you guys. And I'm really excited about the questions tonight. So I guess we can go ahead and start off right now. I wrote my questions down here because I didn't want to look like an idiot trying to put them up here again. But we all know about conspiracy theories, and whether you believe in them or not. Some of them actually have turned out to be true, like the MK Ultra, the government spying on John Lennon, or big tobacco companies knowing about, that they cause cancer, but they were hiding it for years, or at least trying to hide it for years. What do you guys think? What is your favorite conspiracy? What is something that you guys have heard before? You like it? I know not everybody's into them. I think we all like a good story, whether they're true or not, but some of them I think can come true. So, or have been true, at least in my experience. But what do you guys think? I guess we can start off with Holly. What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely believe in conspiracies. I know that my grandfather worked for the government, so I've already got that backing. He worked for NASA. I can't really get into everything, but his whole death is one of those like NASA oriented. Like, he was way high up there. He invented the satellites. He was one of the crews that actually took the satellite and came up with the internet, and actually it made evolution, it made history. I immediately, my mind's like, his brother, my uncle, didn't even have a computer in his home. So it really got to an extent level, like a radical level. And so, do I absolutely believe in conspiracies? Yes. Do I believe that they just have proven that tobacco is good or no, bad for people? I absolutely do not believe that. I mean, come on, look at the ingredients in it. I'm not believing that. Now, some conspiracies, it's so close to the truth. Yes, others like Jimmy Hoffa and stuff like that. I know my favorite conspiracy is Paul McCartney. And when you reverse the record, I killed Paul. That is favorite to me because I love the Beatles. I love the Beatles so much. They're one of my favorite bands. How can you not like the Beatles? So the fact that that record was played blew so many minds, and that's really what my favorite one is. I could say Jimmy Hoffa, but that's kind of too radical. Like I Killed Paul could actually still be true. Like so like think of the realities of that. That could seriously be the case, but other conspiracies theories are just way far out there. You just use common sense, and there's a lot we don't know. There's really a lot that we still don't know, and a lot we still can't prove that the government still knows, and that, it's just a whole nother thing that they're hiding. But yeah, it's an interesting question.
Did you ever watch that documentary that Paul McCartney's not dead?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And they don't have enough evidence. I don't care how many ways they're going to spin that.
That was entertaining. I have to
Yes.
say that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Radical.
Yes, definitely. That's awesome. What about you, Geoffrey?
I don't believe in conspiracies. I'm just being upfront and real, because sometimes I think you can say something for so much that it can kind of manifest and people believe it. So I try to keep my mind at a neutral stance where I'm not believing the over the top crazy stuff. So I'm just being real. I don't focus on it so much. I don't really think about conspiracies. I don't believe that they're real. I think if things happen, they happen for a reason. So I'm just a faith believer.
A lot of people believe that they can fill in the blanks, right? It's like ad
Yeah.
libs. If somebody doesn't want to tell us what it is, let's fill it in for them, and then our minds go crazy,
Yeah.
And hey, our minds, when we're looking outside, we think we saw something, and our mind fills in that blank, So I mean, it definitely,
Most
I
definitely.
agree. What about
Yeah.
you, Corey?
I thought I was going to be the killjoy on this one, but Geoffrey beat me to it.
Oh no, this was perfect. We've got two of us that love them and two of us that don't believe in them. This will be fun.
I will not say I don't love them, right? As you said, they're good stories, and yeah, I'm a historian, right? That's what I love, and so I'm actually teaching a class as we speak. I've been teaching a class on creepy history, I call it, but we deal with a lot of conspiracy theories, natural phenomenon, stuff like that, and I've taught everybody how to be. What's important to me as a historian is to be a skeptic, which is different from being a cynic, right? Cynicism is, no, this is ridiculous. I don't want anything to do with it. Skeptics will be like, tell me all about it. It's just likely in the end of the day, you're not going to have much evidence for it. You're not going to have anything to prove it, but I'm all ears, right? Loch Ness, Bigfoot, I know the cryptozoology, but that would be a blast. If it was real, it'd be awesome, right?
Yeah.
But
hey, I've seen Bigfoot.
The likeliness,
You
though,
hate
the likeliness is not there for me. So
Or Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, but
funny story about Chupacabra.
That's one of the ones that could be, there could be some wild dog out there. There could be some wild ape-like beast out there. It's a possibility. Aliens, there's a possibility, but do we have any evidence? Have we seen
No.
we catch ghosts
Hey,
on
I think I had evidence.
I don't know.
I was driving in Nebraska home from school one day, and my 3-year-old daughter was in the back seat because she was going to school with me, and they had a daycare there. And we were driving home, and I'm just off thinking about the day, thinking about what I have to do. And I thought she was sleeping. She suddenly started screaming, "Daddy, stop the car, stop the car." And I'm like, what are you looking? What's wrong? I thought something broke, and she was like, "Chupacabra." And I was like, she was so insistent. She saw Chupacabra out there. I actually stopped and looked around like, am I seeing something here? I have no clue what she said, but she swore up and down she saw Chupacabra. And I went home. I was like, man, I wonder if she really did. She had me convinced for a second there.
But that's just it. How do you define Chupacabra if we don't know what he looks like or what he is, right?
It's been said, it's one of those things. It's been said, but he looks
Well,
Dog-like.
I believe it's a dog with mange,
yes.
Mhm. Or a coyote.
Well, one of the cryptids that kind of came true, of course, was the thylacine. It's also known as the Tasmanian tiger, right? That's
Or the giant squid.
They actually, giant squids. Like they actually have, they had them in a zoo for a while in the 1930s, and there's still footage of that. And for a long time, people just thought they didn't exist. They turned out to exist, and they went extinct again. People still swear they see it, whether or not they are or not, who knows? But that turned out to be a real thing. They're marsupials actually, and they look like a little dog and half like the back half of it is got tiger stripes and the front of it just it's a strange, and its mouth can open like it's crazy. Go look it up though. That there's like, it's in a zoo. It's in a zoo for years. There's tons of footage of this. Turned out to be a real animal, and it wasn't a dog at all. It was actually a marsupial, kind of like a kangaroo, right? So I'm aware there's possibilities. And as Jeff said, I'm definitely a person of faith. Like, there are things that we cannot explain. There are things that we do not know about.
Yes.
I'm just one of those, like, yeah, well, I in order for me to enjoy it, you really got to take every bit of BS out of it. And then if there's the tiniest nugget of truth, then I'm happy. And I don't need all the other fluff and stuff. I just, if there's something there that I'm like, okay, that I can't explain, then that's enjoyable. But I'm all ears. I'm always all ears. David knows that. We go round and round about what I know is his favorite conspiracy already. I mean, we can't.
We could probably do an entire podcast on our argument on this one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm huge on the JFK conspiracy. And I don't even want to, I mean, there's no possible way we can even get into details, of what it's about. But when I first ran into the JFK conspiracy, I was probably in fourth grade, and somebody was, showing it in class. And that was the first time I'd ever really even heard about it. And so I started really looking into it. I was always just super excited about listening to it. I remember talking to my dad about it. My dad also, he worked for, he had top secret clearance, working for the military. And so, for me to think, and what I've seen throughout time with all of the history and I've gone through every single podcast you can possibly think of, just about. I've read stuff on it. I've watched a 4.5 hour documentary, 20 years ago, on how it was French assassins, and that was ridiculous. I've heard every story. I've read, books, about how the mob did it. I've read books about how the CIA did it, how the Cubans did it. At the end of the day, everybody hated that man, what he stepped on. People loved him. America loved him. But the minute he got in, he started putting his foot down. He put his brother in charge of this, of going after the mob. He did everything against what his dad was saying. There was a lot of entities out there that absolutely hated him. And now that we find out, especially talking about MK Ultra and the things that the CIA do, and the interviews and what's come out, it just keeps coming back and keeps coming back and keeps coming back. And Corey and I'll come in all super excited. We're like, oh man, did you hear this and this and that? And he looks at me and goes, yeah, show me the evidence. I'm like, come on, dude. If there was evidence, we wouldn't have a question here, but all the evidence is there. You can just go look it up. And then, we'll go back and forth. I kid you not, there's nights with him and we get intense. Okay, so don't think if we start arguing, it's because, we hate each other. We're just intense talkers, and we're really passionate when we do speak about what we're thinking of. And I think the JFK conspiracy in itself, and also the things that have been coming into light lately, are starting to prove that he did not do it himself. I have no doubt that he was a part of it, but the bottom line is, he said it himself, he's a patsy. And people that are trying to get out of getting in trouble are not going to say they're a patsy. When you have, Jack Ruby shooting him, and then Jack Ruby was one that he refused to speak on it, and people said he did it, and then the CIA getting upset about it. There's just way too much that's not being told to us. And the fact that here we are, 60 years later, and they still will not release all of the documents because people are still alive that can get in trouble. There's something out there. There's just something that's covering it up, and it's fascinating to me. It absolutely is. I'm still in the middle of listening to a new podcast, Who Killed JFK, and they're about to tell us the 4 people they think they are. So I take all the information I've got throughout the years. I'm intelligent enough to remember and put 2 and 2 together and realize it and understand it. And I believe in God. I'm Catholic. There's a lot that comes into play. So I agree with you guys. We don't know everything that's out there, but at the end of the day, we definitely it's fun to know. But I don't think we're being told everything. So there's that one, and then the Pearl Harbor.
We'll never argue about that part. I don't argue about that part. We don't know everything. That's the part we agree on. 100%. We don't know.
We do agree on that.
Like the parts we argue on is when I do say, it's not just that I want evidence. I say, bring up like the clarity. Like, any one of us can say, oh, I've studied JFK so much. I'm like, yeah, well, there were 25,000 interviews between the Warren Report and the FBI. 25,000. You haven't done 25,000 interviews, right? There were tens of thousands of leads that they followed up and went through. Now, I'm not saying I every time we have this conversation, the first thing he says to me is that, right? He said, "Oh, you just love the government. You don't think they're." I'm like, dude, absolutely not. I know for a fact that governments and societies have been corrupt since the beginning. That's the entire purpose of the United States, right? Is the realization that given the chance, government is a non-living entity. It will always become a corrupt institution. It takes moral men to make it otherwise. So yeah, I know all of that. There's no question whatsoever about the levels people will go to. But at the same time, there's simple things for me. Like when you go through that day and what happened that day, it's like if that really was a plan from some super smart world organization, that was the dumbest plan I've ever heard of, because it relied on so many accidents to have to occur in order for it to have worked. I mean, he got away with something just same as the guy that shot Lennon, right? She's talking about the Beatles. The guy that shot Lennon. We have tons of incidences where stuff like that comes up, where there's this crazed lone gunman with all kinds of psychosis and just manages to slip through the cracks. And we have tons of incidents like that, which is really what I believe happened with Oswald, right? That's my thoughts. So he gets upset because he comes in and he says, well, what about this? I'm like, maybe, but I didn't look into it, and it's hard for me even to believe him. I know he's my big brother, but I'm like, I gotta go look, man. I gotta find it. I gotta see it myself.
I've been
Right?
sending you stuff
Call me
forever.
doubting Tom, but I gotta see it.
Even all I know is that Warren, he didn't want to have his name attached to this. He didn't want to have anything to do with it, but he was forced into it. So, but yeah, like you said, there's no way we're figuring this all out, So, but definitely, conspiracy theories are definitely, it is, and we can argue and argue and argue. And I wish I could post all that information, but I don't have time to go over 25,000 interviews, and I don't think everybody else wants to either, but that's definitely so. Well, let's move on to the next question before we keep going with that one. So this is a big topic that I'm kind of hoping we all agree on. Maybe we don't. Hopefully we probably don't. One of the biggest topics that's being thrown around the country the last few years, in fact, is the idea of people having free access to education. What is your guys' thoughts on every American getting to go to college for free? I'll start with you this time, Geoffrey.
I would love it. I just feel like knowledge is key. So my thing is, I feel like if that was presented for the people, more people will probably have successful businesses. More people will be more educated on things that's going on in the world. I just feel like it should be. I don't think that we should be paying all this money back. I know, because I have a debt going to college, and you can't enjoy it because once you get out, you got to pay this debt. So what is the purpose of getting the knowledge and you're already in debt to knowledge? So I think it should be totally free.
Totally free?
Yes. Free.
What about you, Holly?
I completely agree. I actually got my college paid for. It wasn't by my parents. I had to put myself through college, and I was actually fortunate enough to do it online when I got my theater scholarship, in the creative arts, which was, just the path, because God said that. So basically, like I have a scholarship here, and my college is getting paid for, and I was kind of getting money back for it. So that was also a plus. And it wasn't that much, but yeah, it got me free, and it got me further than I would have gotten on my own, type of thing. So yeah, do I think it should be free? Absolutely. Do I think that parents definitely provide, they help us for sure. Mine are great people, but they weren't, they didn't provide that. They let the government do it. And so hey, if it's not that you're not a bad person, but just go ahead. And I mean, if the government wants to do it, go for it, type of thing. I think it should be free for everyone. I do think that our system is kind of set up in that weirdest way. Like there's kind of an imbalance there with some people. Like I said, it should definitely be free. It was for me. And I am not a studious type. I'm a creative type, and I'm a writer type. I just do not have time to sit in a classroom type of thing. So, but other people who would probably go all the way, get their masters, get their doctorates. I mean, my sister even, is that same way. She's still, going. She was always the studious type, and she got hers paid for. So it's for everyone type of thing. If I'm saying that the right way, it's for everyone. And its very reason is for people, not just people who can't afford it, people who are lesser than, but it should be for everyone. It should help you. It should give you opportunity, because this is the land of opportunity. So
It'd be nice to have NIA when we were in college, right? Corey, what about you?
Obviously, I'm an educator. I think education is important. Information is power, for sure, but I don't see education, right? And there's a difference between being educated and knowing things and the educational system. And the educational system and being a part of the educational system is not an inalienable right. That's not something you're born with that everyone has a right to. Everyone has a right to certain things like that are the inalienable things that we have a right to. But born to an education within the educational system, you're not born with the right to somebody else's services, right? Teachers already, trust us, teachers don't get paid very well at all, right? And everybody talks about how important education is. However, it sometimes becomes a dime a dozen for some of this stuff. So let me put it this way with my opinion on it. Many students now don't take their high school careers very seriously, and it's because it's free. Once they start having to pay for it in college, a lot more of them start to take it seriously, except for the ones that it's not paid for, or the ones that, mom and daddy did pay for. And I think at that point, I want to see how many people are actually going to take it seriously when it's free for everybody, right? And I do, because I say it's inalienable. I ask, who's paying the teachers? How much of the teacher is going to be getting paid now? How much does it matter to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree when everybody has free access and they can just not go have a job, not move on with their lives? They can just meander in college as long as they want and get one of those degrees. And basically everybody's going to have it, just like everybody has a high school degree, high school diploma. And I think that causes a lot of problems. So I agree. I'm 100% in favor of education. But we haven't really even figured out how to tap into the internet appropriately. And I teach some of these students, and I love my students, but I have a lot of students that, like, you have the world at your fingertips and we didn't, and they don't care, right? And sometimes being in that classroom is great. Yeah, some people do well. I'm like Holly, where, creative type. I am a teacher, but I can't sit still in a classroom. I'm way better with this one-on-one stuff. And I look for those students that I know that need the one-on-one time as well. But I think the system needs a complete overhaul. And whether or not we pay for it or not is going to be dependent on how much freedom and choice we're going to have in that. Because if college becomes free and I don't have a choice in that, right, as far as whether I'm going to pay into that or not, or what school my kids are going to get to go to all of a sudden, I think that's already a problem with the high schools and the elementaries right now. We don't have a choice. Some states I know are spending, they got like a budget, whatever it is, $27,000 a year, I think they spend on every student. They're starting to put that into an account now that the parents have control of. And if the parents have control of that, they can use it to help them pay for a private school, or they can use it to go to a public school, or they can use it for homeschooling, but it becomes a matter of choice. And so I'm all for things like that, or scholarships like Holly was talking about, or opportunities for it to be free, right? I don't think it is for everyone, because I don't think everyone actually accepts opportunities that are laid right at their feet. Most of the students in this country right now don't realize the opportunity that's at their feet, and they're whining and crying about having to get up early and go to school, and they don't even realize what a blessing and a benefit it is. And when you got to pay for it like we did, you realize what it is. And then you start getting upset when, hey, wait a minute, I paid a lot of money, put in a lot of time and effort, and there's a whole bunch of other guys that got D's and C's in the same classes that are going to have the same exact degree. And it was free for them, so they just kind of meandered through. Like, that's not going to be a good show, man. That's not going to work for me, if that makes sense.
So you think it brings the value system down if it was to be totally free?
I do.
The worth, like what is worth when you get the actual degree.
I do, and I'm old school in the belief that competition always creates a better product in the end of the day. So schools having to compete with one another. You know, I want your students here. I want you here. How do we entice you to come here? Jobs that want to entice you in. That's how the free market works. That's how all of this works. And the idea of competition and choice, right? Because if you take away the choice, then we all have to go to this school or that school. And now it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good the teachers are. Doesn't matter how good the education is. Like, nobody's going to take it seriously. That's what I think.
You know, I agree in a lot of sense. Well, first of all, I really think that they should take college and make it not so dang expensive. You know, I think that's a big issue. Yes. Do I secretly say, oh, it'd be nice if they waived all my fees right now? You know, I'd be happy, but at the same time, I could say this. When I was in high school, I was ADHD. I was class clown. I was, you know, I'm going to play football. I'm going to be in NFL. I don't need college. I don't need school. And then I was like, the only reason I'm going to go to college because I want to go play football at Notre Dame. You know, that I don't care. Who cares? I don't need to be smart. I'm a good athlete. Well, I blew that and ended up going into the military first, you know, because I got my girlfriend pregnant at a very young age in high school, and I had to grow up real quick. And just like, you know, going into a job, which is an entry-level job, I realized, you know, working at a fast food restaurant for busting my butt just to make $4.25 an hour at the time. That was a minimum wage. I might be dating myself, you know, but the reality was I was working hard for pretty much an a-hole as a boss who probably just barely even graduated high school. And I was like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. This is ridiculous. Yes. So I went in the military. When I went in the military at a very early age, I found out that, you know, I can get the GI Bill, which was really nothing when I got into college. And what I found was, man, now I got to pay for this. I said, you're damn straight I'm going to be in class on time. Damn straight I'm going to start paying attention. I'm going to learn. Oh, I have to buy a book too? That book is $300-$400. Like, for what? I'm like trying to talk to the professor to find out whether or not I got to actually, are we going to use the book or do I need it? Oh, you know what? It's smart to get it. I'm like, I don't have that kind of money. Okay. So
now, they still cost that much.
Yeah. So I would wait to the last minute just to find out that there's no more books at the library, and I couldn't buy any. So now I'm begging people to help out. But the reality was I started finding out a lot of the younger kids that were in school, my friends, they didn't care. They're just like, my mom, dad paid for it. I'm here. And that frustrated me. You know? Yeah. And by the time I earned my bachelor's degree, I was super excited because, first of all, you know, you can ask my dad. He was surprised I graduated high school, you know, and for me to be able to say, hey, Dad, I had a 3.8 GPA in college. That was amazing to him, you know, but I also knew too that I had to be able to pay for a house. I had to pay for family. I had to work nights. I was being a DJ in the middle of the night. I was doing anything. I was selling telephone books out of the back of a car, you know, and I was doing anything I could just to make cash to be able to survive. And from that point forward, I respected it, you know. And then I found out I can get a master's degree after I became a teacher, and I worked for that. And now I wanted a 3.9, I wanted a 4.0 GPA, and it was proud. I was super proud to actually have that degree. Now, does that degree, like Corey said, does that degree mean I'm smart? Hell no. What it means is I busted my ass. I did something that I was told to do, whether I liked it or not. I sacrificed holidays. I sacrificed family get-togethers. Friends asked me to come watch the game. I sacrificed so much to get that guy that's going to hire me or that lady on the other side that's going to hire me can say, you know what? Really probably don't know if he knows anything, but I guarantee you he will be here when I ask him to get here. So to me, I think, like Corey said, it devalues it if it's free. Now, it's too expensive. You know, there's no way I could afford to go to Notre Dame. You know, I needed a scholarship, and when I already blew that, I was I'm done. There's nothing I can do about it. So education in itself, I think it's more important that people have to earn it. Now, do you need a college degree to be, you know, successful? Absolutely, positively not. You know, I needed one because I found out real quick that, you know what, I think I'm going to be a teacher. And when I found out I was going to be a teacher, I called my sister and my dad, and my sister cried, and she didn't cry because she was happy for me. She cried because she thought that was like, oh crap, what the hell is he doing teaching? You know, and even my own dad was like, you're going to what? You know, and I was like, Dad, I'm going to be a teacher because I want to be a coach. So I guess I have to get an education then, you know? So in order to do that, I had to get my degree. Now, I always ask my students this, if you're going to have surgery, okay, and maybe you're having brain surgery, and how would you feel if your neurosurgeon, you overheard him talking to the nurse saying, hey, so you know what? I got like a C average, and I see my way out, but I made it through. This dude's about ready to cut open my brain.
Wow.
No. I need somebody that knows what they're doing.
They stop.
And if
ChatGPT
we
wrote
make
my
college,
essays for me.
if college becomes free, we're gonna have some dude go, wait, how much do they make? Oh, I'm gonna be a brain surgeon. Put me in, and how many times are they gonna fail? Because we don't have no child left behind anymore. I'm
At
sorry,
least
we didn't have no
16
child left
years.
behind. What's that?
16 years of education. It's at least 16 years, eight
Hey.
times eight, whatever, to all that
I went to school for
ridiculousness.
7 years, and
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
I'm not a doctor though. I just sucked at math. I tell you what, I probably took more math than anybody in this room, and I still suck at it.
Tough stuff.
That's because I had to keep retaking it.
Yeah.
But-
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a serious lack of agency right now with students. You could see it everywhere. There's a lack of agency and there's a lack of value in education, because when they think of education, they think of the educational system. And right now, it definitely needs an overhaul in a lot of areas. A lot of it's still wonderful and a lot of it needs overhauls, but that's kind of stuff you have to think about when you're going to make college free. Which parts are free? Can you go to college to be a doctor and that's free? And the guy that's going to college to get some classes for the car to be a car mechanic, that's free. Like, what's the difference? There's no difference in price between the two things like that. Next thing you know, we have a rash of too many doctors in this country. And then we got a rash of too many lawyers in this country right now. And, behind heart disease and cancer, medical malpractice is already the number 3 killer in the world. That's medical malpractice. You've got heart disease, cancer, people screwing up in the medical business. So the idea of all of that being, like I said, I don't feel like they value it in what's going on as it is. You know what I mean? If you talk to my grandparents, parents, some of the older generations, they had to work really hard for their high school diploma, and that meant something. And that's not even happening in high school now, let alone what I think might happen in college. I don't know if there's a lot of that idea of the agency, or like David said, the recognition that you're not just here for, oh, I'm not really feeling this math class. Well, that doesn't matter. You're proving to the world that you can accomplish something, whether you want to or not, that you have that grit and that tenacity and that ability, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think a lot of them understand that at this point. So free college just becomes something that's just not going to be valued.
My professor wanted me to finish my PhD, and I told her there's no way in hell I'm spending another $40,000 just so I can get people to call me Dr. Stowe. And I know for damn sure my brothers will never call me Dr. Stowe, so it's not worth it.
Well, we also come from the 80s, or we come from that era that says you didn't get college. You either went, or you didn't get to college and work. You either went to college and that became your job, or you went from high school to work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
That's the generation we're coming from. The military.
Yeah. Gen X.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely. Hey, we can have a whole podcast on Gen X, right?
I think that may be another issue, though, if it becomes free for college, right? Because free for college, what do all the trade schools do, right? And we need more of that. We're already losing the trades, some of the simple ones, like I said, the mechanics, the locksmiths, what happens to all of these trade schools and stuff if we're doing college for free? How do we determine where that money's going, with who, when, where? And then, like David said, then all of a sudden they're going to be like, well, no child left behind. So now all of a sudden, not only do you get a free college education, but now everybody's just, we're not really going to fail anybody. Everybody's automatically going to get a bachelor's degree. And, it's already happened in elementaries and junior highs and high schools. I can't imagine that, government running the medical businesses or running the school businesses is going to be any better, right? That's my opinion.
Career choices are what people do. I told Corey for many, many years, hey, if I'm a teacher because I get weekends off, I get holidays off. If I want to do things like this, I can do it. I get more breaks than most people do. Yeah, I got to deal with some crazy kids all day long. They're like a bunch of gremlins running around. But at the end of the day, I'm 100% happy that I'm there, because you know what? I think I'm all for a plumber or the trash guy getting paid a hell of a lot of money. I'm like, hey, more power to them. You know what they're giving up? Weekends, holidays, except the damn days that I forget to take the trash out and they bring it. And then the days that I bring it out, they don't come. But that's a whole other issue. But no, I agree with you guys that 100%, and I think education, I mean, yeah, do we want it to be free? Yeah, but do we really want it to be free is the true question. And I think there's we all have some good points here. I like it. I definitely like it. I bet you if we've already paid our stuff, and then we'd be like, no, man, make them damn kids pay for it. We had to pay for it. But no, you're right. It's a big thing.
Like the conspiracy theories, right?
Oh yeah, we
like
can
it's
go
fun,
around
it's
and around.
nice, it's a great, like I would love free education and free medical, but when you start actually breaking it down and looking at what would happen, it's like I don't know if there's a whole lot there of evidence saying that it's going to be a nice thing, or it's a nice thought. It's definitely a wonderful thought.
Yeah,
maybe there'll be a breakthrough in the internet and education will be something a little more available to us, right?
Yeah,
maybe just not the government school business, right?
Exactly. Well, we've got almost 15 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited. I'm a little bummed I don't get to see my daughters and them to come out here. But you know what? It's kind of cool this year because now I don't have too many responsibilities, so I can sit back and enjoy it. It'll be not as a packed house, but one thing we do in our family is watch Christmas movies all the time. My family is very big on tradition. Actually, I think Corey and them are a hell of a lot more on tradition than I am. I feel like we just watched a damn movie, and he's like, yeah, we watch it every year at this time. I'm like, I guess I'm getting older because I felt like we just watched it, but all right, but I want to know, what is your 3 favorite top Christmas movies of all time for you that you think every human being needs to or must see? We'll start with Corey this time because I know he's going to say mine, and
I am. I'm gonna pivot for you because I'm pretty sure we're pretty close. I'll pivot to another one. So definitely, for me, top is Christmas Vacation. I absolutely love Christmas Vacation, and then Home Alone. Right, I grew up with Home Alone. I loved Home Alone 1 and 2. Those are must-see ones. I mean, there's just so much Christmas packed into those movies. And there's a lot of other honorable mentions. I'll leave David to the other one, but I'm going to throw this out there because somebody needs to defend it. I'm going to say Die Hard. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's a Christmas movie. There's Christmas music all throughout it, right? And the way he survives is a Christmas miracle. So I'm going to call it a Christmas movie. Those are my 3: Die Hard, Home Alone, and really Die Hard's just kind of like an adult version of Home Alone anyways, right?
Sort of.
He's got bad guys showing up into the house and he's got the booby traps for him, and a little more violent in Die Hard, but yeah, so I'm gonna go with those 3: Die Hard, Home Alone, and Christmas Vacation.
Nice. What about you, Holly?
I'm going to change this up on Corey, and I'm going to make this show really controversial right before we end it and say Die Hard cannot be in this list. Like, it cannot. I'm sorry. You're allowed Christmas Vacation. You're allowed,
Thank you, Holly. Thank you.
Story. You're right. You're allowed anything with a tree or Santa. You are not any of these others. I don't care how much of a historian you.
However, Corey had a good point today. He had a very good point today. Just because there's a Christmas story. Well, there was a Christmas song in the beginning of the movie, does not make it a movie. But Corey had a good point today that I didn't realize. There is a classical song. What is it called, Corey?
Yeah, the Ode to Joy. Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Right.
Oh, that all of a sudden on the is when you play Christmas music, because we play Christmas music all the time. It always comes on the radio now. Yep. So somebody out there is a Die Hard fan is just trying to make that
never a Christmas song until Die Hard. When Die Hard played that in the movie, and now Ode to Joy is a part of Christmas because of Die Hard. So that's got to speak.
And Jeff's going to make this interesting by all of you going against me now. So let's really go there, Yeah,
and exactly. There were guns in A Christmas Story too, right? Shot his eye out almost.
Yes.
BB gun.
Yeah.
What about you, Geoffrey?
Okay, so I love Home Alone. I'm like a little kid at heart, y'all. So I'm gonna go to the little kiddie movies. So I like How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh yeah.
I love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
those are my three favorite.
Remember how we used to have to wait for TV Guide to come out just to tell us when Rudolph and Frosty was going to come on that weekend?
Yes.
Yes, number
I
one.
could not wait for that every time. Kids nowadays
Yeah.
don't even realize what we had to go through.
Yes. To me, those to me are sentimental Christmas shows because it started as a kid, and I'm still when I see them, I'm like a little kid at heart all over again.
Yes.
Heck,
Yeah.
I got a new abominable snowman from the Rudolph blow up that I'm supposed to put up tonight when we're done. So yeah, that's always going to be there. Well,
I'm so envious.
if you ever get a chance, go look at the page I had. We put our pictures up there for the house. I mean, I'm excited. You know, we go Griswold in our house, which obviously means my number one movie is Christmas Vacation. You know, we quote each other throughout the year on that. When we love that movie, it's absolutely great. My second favorite, I have to admit, is Daddy is Home Too. You know, man, I relate so much to Mark Wahlberg in that movie. I love it. Everything to say, I'm like, oh, I feel it, especially with the heater, you know, the heater problems, you know. I mean, I absolutely love that movie. And then my third, I'm going to go with it, Elf.
Yeah.
Love Elf. You know, I got a blow up of Elf out in my yard too, you know, so definitely love Elf. I think I talked about in the last podcast, our family, we're big on tradition, and my oldest kids, when they're in high school, they decided they wanted to have Elf night, which was an excuse for us adults to go out and party, you know, and not have kids around. And then they just put all the stuff together for Elf. And I remember coming back one night and a little bit too much to drink, and I saw spaghetti and syrup, and I almost was like, what the? And they're like, that's what he eats in the movie. And I'm like, no, that's why it's in the movie. You know, the guy almost got fat, and the guy got type 2 diabetes in 1 week doing that movie. He had to go to a doctor for it. And they're just like, oh, shut up. It's good. You know, so, you know, I love Christmas movies. We can probably talk about Christmas movies all night long too. Corey had mentioned a couple the other night. So those are my three that I think everybody needs to see. And you know what? We are educators, and I guarantee you that we're going to be fighting over those 3 movies to show our classes next week, you know?
Yeah, I picked Die Hard because I knew he's going to go with Elf. So also.
Well, let me insert one important point. We can even have Die Hard, because now you're turning me. Now I feel the tide turning. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be for you on that, Corey. Just because I like you, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm on side with you because I'm outnumbered, Felicia, and all that. I'm outnumbered, so I surrender.
No, I agreed with you. But you know.
But there is something to be said. There's a Christmas story, George Bailey, and how everything turns, you know, a Christmas story, all those beautiful movies and everything. But there is something that is supposed to be said for Christmas Vacation. That is, everyone can relate when you're stapling every third staple, and all of a sudden your sleeve gets caught. You laugh. You're like, oh my God, it's so relatable, right?
Or the one bulb is out, and you're like, what in the hell is going on here?
I love it.
And you get all the way up there and like, okay, did you see which bulb it was? No, it was just working a second ago. Wait, where were you at? Come on. Or like my nephews came over to help out this year, and I asked them, I said, hey, you guys really want to help? I have 2 trees on the side of the house. Go ahead and start putting these Christmas lights up, right? We get all done. I'm like, what's taking you guys so long? And they're like, man, that was harder than I thought. I get over there. The fools put it about upside down. I was like, now we got to run a cord all the way up the tree to the top. And they're like, oops.
Holly, did you say your 3 favorite?
I think you only said 2.
A Christmas Vacation, George Bailey. Yeah, of course. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Christmas Vacation, and and Elf. I'm sorry, I can't stand. So I'll watch it for my 3-year-old niece. I'll watch it for her, but I'm gonna go with Home Alone. Yeah, those 3. So, but Elf, no, don't be jumping across intersection and not get hit. You're in a major city. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Be realistic.
Hey, not one of those movies that you guys said.
Help and all that was real, right? Just the walking across the traffic. That part, that's what got you.
I think I liked every single one of the movies you guys said anyway, so I think those are all must watches regardless, you know. So So, well, that was awesome, guys. That was a lot of fun. Definitely like to get into deeper detail on some of those later on. But thank you for having me as your host on this one, man. This was a lot of fun. I finally get to meet Geoffrey and Holly, and
Yes.
it was. I went back and looked at some of your guys' shows too, previous, just so I could get a little feel of how you guys are, and and what to ask and what not to ask, and that was a lot of fun. I had a good time tonight, and I'm hoping to have me on again. I'm sure this won't be my last. Hopefully I didn't blow it. And I don't think there's too much to bleep tonight, So, and, for the record, I tell everybody Corey's a lot smarter than me because he just seems to remember the big words all the time. So thank you, guys.
And the big sentences and everything else.
Yeah.
I'll accept the compliment. Don't try to pull it back. I'll take it.
Hey, how's the weather out there in Texas right now?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I know I'm from Texas, but I'm in LA, and the
you're in
weather's
LA.
beautiful. The weather's beautiful as always.
Yeah.
But I travel all the time for my book and things like that. So yeah, hopefully when I catch it, but you pay for the weather, so it's good.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. This was an awesome time. Had a good time, and I look forward to being able to do this again soon.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Here, guys.